Hello class and welcome to week 6. This week we have a number of pivotal assignments that are due, and I'm going to talk about each of those, but first wanted to discuss the quote of the week, which I think is a phenomenal way to capture a definition of spirituality. This week we will be looking at religious and spiritual values and views in counseling. And I really like this week because it is an area where a lot of people, not just students in training, but professionals, etc., a lot of people have a number of issues when it comes to discussing religion and spirituality in counseling. In fact, I believe it was Karl Marx who said that religion was opium for the masses. And between sort of the hard sciences and social sciences, we see this sort of inimical relationship when it comes to religion and discussing religion in therapy. I've been very fortunate. This is a line of research that has been an interest of mine since I was back in graduate school, and I was even on a research team that talked about how therapists have a religious belief but often hesitate to even talk about religion in therapy with clients who bring it up because we don't want to step on anybody's toes. What I often tell students, because I have a number of students especially who talk about how, they don't have a religious or spiritual practice and they feel very uncomfortable. What I encourage students to do is really think about the figurehead or the person, the head of that religion, if it's God, if it's a higher power or higher being, and talk about it with the client as if it were any other relationship. For example, I was working with a client one time, and she was very unsatisfied sexually in her marriage, and she had bought a sex toy, and felt as though God was ashamed of her. And I took that as a wonderful opportunity to do some chair work with the client, where we externalized God, and the client was able to talk about her decisions to God in session. I've had clients write letters to their higher power, etc. And so there are a number of ways to be able to incorporate this into therapy. I don't necessarily have to believe what my clients believe in order to be able to use this to help the client to gain a deeper understanding of themselves. So related to that, you will have a discussion this week that often really gives students a run for their money, and I encourage you to really think as though this were a client across from you when you do your discussion. You also have a rough draft of your paper. You can do a paper, you can do an outline. I tell students, as much as you write, I will provide as much feedback. And so if you can submit as complete a draft as possible, I would love to be able to get eyes on it and give you feedback about the direction that you're going in with either Butch or Vu. What I really want to encourage you all is this final project paper is not something you can essentially BS your way through. I really want to see integration of the class concepts in this paper. So first and foremost, your textbook should definitely be in your references list, along with a number of resources that have occurred throughout the class this term. So these are our announcements this week. You also have a quiz that's going to be due related to the multicultural competencies. And this is really good because I know a few of you have talked about sort of making referrals if you have like a disagreement with the client or moral issue. And this will really help you to delve into the code of ethics and really get involved in an understanding when this is ethical and when this is unethical. So these are our announcements for the week. And last thing I want to say, I really appreciate your papers on Daryl and Samar, and encourage you, once again, make sure you're looking at your textbook, integrating those classroom resources, and I look forward to seeing your work. I will be traveling this week. Later this week, I'll be going home to North Carolina for Easter. I hope to have your grading done before then, but if I do not, there is a possibility that some of your feedback for UCU might be written rather than video feedback, because where my parents live is truly in the sticks. My folks from the South will know what that expression means. It's very rural, and I don't get as good service down there, and so I'll try to have your grading done early, but if not, please bear with me as I provide written feedback to you. Thanks. Have a great week.